are written, and we bring to you unheard member stories of Mentor My Board, where all the pillars of good governance, whether it's promoters, founders, independent directors, executive directors, women directors, even investor, CEOs, CXOs, play a crucial role. Mentor My Board today is a brand known even to the finance minister of our country. We launched we have launched various initiatives like Boardroom Mastery for promoter directors, WOM for women directors, Ideal for independent directors, and we often launch or we often conduct the coffee meets. We often conduct board tattva series, which are continuous learning and sharpening of your boardroom skills. And via these series, which are well appreciated by our members, we bring to you good governance in your court, in the court. So blogs, videos, coffee meets are various such initiatives that we conduct on the platform of Mentor My Board. So do join this momentum of good governance with us by joining the platform of Mentor My Board at www.mentormyboard.com. In the pursuit of building better governed boards with effective directors, we strive to create a community of 100,000 directors and create opportunities for them. Platform of Mentor My Board acts as an enabler for us to drive these initiatives pan India and even international governance perspectives, which we can bring to the table on Mentor My Board for the members of our community. With this as a sole motive, we have come up with this member spotlight series, which focuses on recognition, growth, and credibility of our members under the spotlight. Let us today welcome our member, Captain Tapas Majumdar, to this series and understand his journey in detail.
Thank,
Captain, welcome to this member spotlight series.
thank you so much, Neha. It's nice to be in the spotlight and talking about our journeys. Yes.
Yes. So before we move ahead, let me introduce our member, Captain Tapas Majumdar, to the audience today. So Captain Tapas Majumdar is the founder director at Sustainability Practitioners and independent director at Mcon, which is a listed company. He is into sustainability, ESG reporting, and assurance. He is a member of Board of Studies and an aspiring TEDx speaker as well. He adds 25 years of industry leadership experiences to the table, coupled with value system from the army tenure as well. So, Captain, we are super excited to hear your journey today with us and with the audience. So, let me directly dive in and ask you with the first question today. So, how did your experiences and leadership skills gained during your military career influence you in the corporate career, and your decisions to establish an organization focused on sustainability and ESG practices?
Firstly, Neha, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I always miss my wife's presence when when the introductions happen. But uh, to answer your question, the leadership traits that is displayed in the corporate or whether it's displayed in the military are really not that different. Okay, because leadership is leadership at the end of the day. And the major traits that we have um, that I have gained from, okay, the biggest of them is probably trust. Okay, of the five six that I list up, uh, I would put uh, trust first. It is the trust that boys put into you. I'm sorry, that's Joy. And uh, can I just take a
He
second?
wants to be in the spotlight as well.
Just give me a
He's
sec.
stealing the glamour from you.
I'll just let it out once.
No worries.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, he's my workmate as well. So He shares the room where I work.
Yes.
So leadership has so many different shades, all right? And of the many traits that I feel I carry from the military to the civil, is biggest one is probably trust. When your troops look at you, when the troops talk about you, when the troops even think about you, that has to inspire trust and confidence. All right. As an infantry officer, anyone who served in the military would understand the importance of what I'm saying, and that's the kind of credibility you need to build. So the next time they are faced in a situation, they would know, all right, how Tapasya would think about it, how would he go
Interesting.
about it. So they tend to emulate, they tend to follow. You need to be that, and it is built on just one foundation, that's trust. It's the same in the corporate world as well. Whether you're working as an entrepreneur, whether you're working as an employee, building that trust is very, very important, and it takes many, many years to build it. All right,
Very
and
true.
it's something which is quite fragile, so you need to be very careful of not crashing it. So it is a continuous thing. It doesn't kind of uh, end with just a few steps. It has to be part of your behavior, displayed behavior. You must inspire confidence. That means you need to build that kind of credibility. The second one is being responsible, and not just being responsible, but also showing, coming across as a responsible person. It's not only about doing the right things, or it is not only about correcting the wrongs. Okay, it is more about acceptance. It is more about acknowledging, accepting the reality the way it is, and ensuring that you are moving forward in whatever you're doing with everyone. So even when someone from your team makes a mistake, it is great to take responsibility for it, but that doesn't end over there. You need to build back that individual's credibility, because nothing is hidden from the team, nothing is hidden
True.
from people inside. But it's your job to ensure that you build back the credibility of the individual, the confidence of the individual, so that he grows professionally as well. You are responsible for your team. You're responsible for your actions. You're responsible even for your thoughts, because thoughts eventually turn into actions. Right? So responsibility is the second thing, and display it. Okay, the next thing that I could think of is sound decision making. Now, it is not about being right or wrong. I don't think there are situations where things are either black or white. All right, there would be enough gray situation, and we face them in the army as well. You have to take a call, because not taking a call often is more expensive than taking a wrong call. So you take the call to the best of your knowledge, to the best of your ability, to the best that you think in your expertise is in the interest of getting a job done, or is the interest of the client, or is the interest of whatever the initiative that you're taking. It was the same in the army as well. It's never that we always knew everything and what's happening, and we can take a call. There were spot decisions we had to take. And in the profession that I was in earlier, you never got a second chance, right? If 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 we lose a voice because of a decision that you take, you need to live with it. So we came from that kind of a background. So decision making was never an issue, and it's not, you never have enough information, right? So it is about the decision that you make given that circumstances, given the situation. So doing that, having the, if I may say, audacity of taking a call, right? But when you're doing this, you're doing it with a calm mind, not with feathers which are ruffled up, because that is more dangerous. And the troops look at you. When they are in a situation, they look at how you react. If you show panic on your face, there could be chaos. The result will be far more damaging. So you stay as calm as water, to the outside world, although there would be a storm brewing under you. And the only thing that I've seen that the storm actually comes down is when you're knowledgeable about things, when you are willing to learn. We are thrown into situations. even whether it's in the corporate or whether it is in the army itself, where you don't know. You are on to a routine patrolling, but that day's patrol wasn't really that routine. But your ability, your mental agility to keep analyzing, keep thinking, keep taking in inputs is very, very important. And if you don't know, learn. You either know or you learn. There is nothing else in between. There was a time when I had to look at productivity. I had no idea on how to deal with processes. I learned about Six Sigma. I'm a Six Sigma Green Belt certified, although I'm not looking to make a career in quality management system. But it helped me to get the job done at that point in time when I was part of the MD office in future supply chains, so on and so forth. So either you know or you learn. Just two options. And probably one more point, your willingness to commit for the purpose, to commit for the cause. And when you, like I sit on the board of Mcon as an independent director. Now I know I'm an independent director, so I have my limitations, I have my all of that. But the willingness to commit to the purpose of the company and discharge the fiduciary responsibility in according to that, regardless of what stands in opposition, is what is required. So that willingness to commit at whatever the case may be. Otherwise, don't take it on. So,
True.
like in the army, once you commit to an ops, you can't take your steps back. All right. In the civil, probably it is, but trust me, nobody will trust you after that. It
True.
impacts credibility. So think before you commit, but once you've committed, you're committed. These are the points that come to my mind.
Amazing points, I think. And once we are committed to what we have thought, or what we have already shared, I think most of the times we would outperform, we would do whatever to achieve it as well. But then there are hardly some times that we might feel अरे होगा कि नहीं, और you might feel कि चलो छोड़ दो, जाने दो, नहीं करेंगे तो भी चल जाएगा. But then it still gives you that thought that no, once it has been committed, let's do it, may what be. So I
Absolutely.
understand. And you being from army background, I'm sure, like, once the commitment is given, so it is done. Like, there is no option to it then.
Absolutely. You think before you commit,
True,
but once
true.
you're committed, because that becomes part of your brand as well, right? That's the image that people carry about you. So
Right.
if the image is like Tapas may commit, but check with him again, he may have withdrawn by now. Now that is
Very.
bad. That is bad. Then people can't depend on you, and that impacts trust.
I agree. All right. So now, when we've talked about commitment, let's also talk about one important factor, that is success. So when we have to quantify success, it is important. See, so both in military and in businesses as well. So how does your organization measure and communicate the impact of its sustainability efforts, and how do these metrics contribute to the overall mission?
See, quantification essentially provides clarity. So when you're quantifying, you're not juggling words. You're being straight and direct. All right. It's probably simpler in the army because of the way the organization is structured. But when it comes to the corporate, it may not be as simple. But one thing is for sure: investors, regulators, CEOs, they prefer people who are more direct, may not be crude. I'm not talking about being crude, but more clear and who can quantify things in numbers rather than confuse in jargon. Right? So quantification is important. When we started the sustainability practice, one of the things that uh, uh, which see, I'm not a scientist, and I keep saying this all the time. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a engineer. So how do I impact climate change? But climate change is something that is impacting us. And at that point in time, when I realized the depth of it, I was wondering how could I contribute. All right. So I'm good at writing balance scorecards. I've written close to about seven balance scorecards for companies. I said if I can get companies to invest in sustainability practice for themselves and show an ROI on that and make it, you know, the entire strategy based on the balance scorecard itself. uh, then the companies will invest because they'll be able to see an ROI. If they can invest, there will be practice. If there will be practice, there will be impact. So when we try to quantify, we are very, very specifically looking at company profitability, business continuity, and in equal proportion to impact on environment. Whether we are doing the material mapping, whether we are doing the stakeholder mapping, in fact, we do the external stakeholder mapping in the sense we normally look at stakeholders, how they fit into us. We look at how we fit into them as well. Because if he fails, it is our business that gets impacted, the client's business that gets impacted. So our stakeholder mapping has a certain angle to that. And then the KPIs, which are completely based on the balanced scorecard approach, we have, of course, tweaked it to meet the requirements. So for every KPI, we answer what is the impact on the PNL and what is the impact on the environment per KPI. So if anyone, I mean, if you're reading a sustainability report or a news, and some company says that we have reduced their, their carbon footprint by 20%, the first thing that you would want to know is how. So if you look at our kind of reports, you literally have to simply do mathematics, add it up, and compare it to the baseline year. You will get your answer. The idea is to make
Interesting.
it so transparent and number driven that somebody even with an average IQ can say, okay, this is credible. Even the data that we take, we clearly write a data framework to it. What is the source of the data? How is the data extracted? Why was the data source selected? How is the data manipulated? Manipulation is not in the negative sense, but manipulate data with data is done. So you manipulate data to give information. So how was that manipulated to give? So per KPI, all of this clarity is there. Now, because it is there, whether company A or investor A or investor B or anyone who's assessing or measuring, they're going to come to similar conclusions about it. So that's how we quantify impact. Even our usual conversations are, we try to avoid words like could, should, would, must, because these are not quantifiable. We prefer that I do or this is done. More definitive sentences. That's what we do.
Amazing. So, if I have to ask you one or two examples of good ESG reports that you would have gone through, so which would they be?
Uh, well, I am a fan of. Well, I'm taking names of companies, but that's fine. I'm taking it for good reasons. Uh, One, I am a fan of Sun Pharmaceuticals for the way that they have one sec, for the way that they have written their sustainability report. I think it's very well aligned to almost everything, including the UNGC principles. Uh, and there is one more company that I can talk about. Just give me a sec. Okay, I'm not getting it straight away, but
No
give me some
worries.
time. I'll come back to you on that one.
Sure, I would be happy to hear that. So we just let me
Brambles. I'm
ask you
sorry.
one. Yeah.
Brambles.
Okay. Great, thanks. So, Captain, at Mentor My Board, we emphasize that matching directors with the right skill set to the company's requirements for their independent directorship positions is at our core, right? So, when you were actually appointed at Mcon, could you share some insights into your background and expertise that made you well suited for this role as an independent director at Mcon, and how did these attributes align with the Mcon Rasayan company's goals and challenges as well?
And I mean, what Mentor My Board is doing on this is something is not just unique, but it's a very thought of thing to be very, very specific. If you, like for example, you are mapping the traits of the individual to the requirements. So not every member of yours is actually suitable for board positions in every company that every and all company that approach you. So there is an application of mind. Okay, and what I feel very happy about is the fact that this was not a position that I solicited. This was not a position that I asked for, but it came to me. And Mentor My Board brought it to me because they did their matching. Even Mcon, eventually, which I learned, Mcon also did their mapping, and then it was a pro. So to be referred and being a fresher in that sense, and to be referred, uh, I think I think goes to prove the credibility of the person. But uh, 5 or 6 points that come to my mind here on that. One, of course, was trust, because nobody will refer you if they don't trust you, because
True.
it is their credibility as well which is at stake. It is their business relationship also which is at stake. So nobody refers you without they being confident about you. So they trust you. They understand. Obviously, you have the credibility. That's why you were referred. So that is the second thing. Being responsible, because all of this are those pillars that the person who's referring you would fall back on. You know, so responsible, being balanced, okay, willingness to learn, and above all, valuing the relationships. Okay, because when the person refers, he is taking this relationship to a next level altogether. All right, and he knows that Tapas is going to value the relationship. Same with MCon, even in the board. All right, when the MD actually said I really wanted to meet you because I wanted to meet somebody from the defense services, but after we spoke to you, we were sure that you're going to be on board. That's exactly what you're looking at. And even for my fellow board members who are independent directors who come from outside, uh, are that bond. I mean, we are more friends. Trust me. When we went to the factory to visit the factory, when they had the pujas, we had a gala time singing good old songs all the way all the way to Gujarat. So
Oh,
and we still look for opportunities to catch up and just be silly at times. So that's what we are. So yes, so these 5 6 things that matter.
that's great. So, how did Mentor My Board play a pivotal role in preparing you to become that board ready individual before you got appointed as an independent director at Mcon?
Well, I would really really tell all the members and potential members as well. Mentor my board, yeah, we all know they're doing a good thing, but if you stay consistent, you just need to attend. You just need to attend those coffee meets. You just need to attend the board Tattva series, which I'm a big, big, big fan of. And I would like to tell the members as well. Uh, Today I have a mentor. I didn't have a mentor all this time. Right? Ever since I joined the corporate world, and it was Mentor My Board who actually introduced me to them, and I got it through the board Tattva series, Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti. And I mean, Divya is there, you are there, Sridhar is there. Okay, a few names that I can take. All of these people have a tremendous impact on whatever I've become so far. 4 years back when I started off, nobody knew my name. All right, I had to work it up, and that was the way it was. I was recovering from medical situation as well. But here were the pillars on basis whom I stand today. All right. So attend all the events, attend it regularly, and don't just attend, be participative. Like the live case studies on the board Tattva series, do the preparations and come in. The more serious you get, the more you benefit out of it, and everybody does. So I used to be a very strong participant of the, and that that 1 hour with Shailesh Haribhakti was because I was a good one, a good participant. So yeah, you've got a good thing, and not just board Tattva. You look at the coffee meet, you look at sessions like these. Okay, also the courses, but not don't limit yourself. There is nothing like you do one course and you've achieved it. It is a continuous process of learning, relearning, learning again, so on and so forth. So you need to just keep pushing at it. That's what I would say.
So, Captain, you are also a mentor for our participants of Women on Management and Boards batch. That is the WOOM program that we are running. And if you would want to share something about WOOM as well, we would be happy to hear from you.
It's an amazing program. What I like about the program is the way it's constructed. It is you have experts from different domains who are talking about their domain. All right, and of course, the experts we always feel that our domain is very important.
Captain, are you there? Okay. Captain, I think there was some
Yeah,
network issue. Yeah.
there was some network issue. So, like I was saying, for whom, why I like whom is because there are different mentors from different specializations. These aren't people who also do that. Like if I'm talking about sustainability, it is my bread and butter. All right. So the kind of detailing I can go into, probably others cannot. If Sridhar is talking about finance, it is his. If the other is talking about law, it is his. It is his or her core. It's bread and butter is what I mean. So that's where it kind of makes a difference. And these are when we have the discussions with the mentees. All right, we do not assume. Okay, it's a clean slate. You may be a PhD in the subject, but when it started off, it's a clean slate. But above all, theory is fine. But when you apply is when you have your challenges, and that's what the program is designed to address.
Hmm.
So content you can get from the net, okay, as much as you want. You look at YouTube, you look at Google, you get it. But the experience that the mentors come from, and when they talk and the practicality of it, you cannot get it on any search machine. And I think the way Womb has been articulated and rolled down is good. And been lucky to be part of it right from the very first batch. So happy about Womb.
Great, amazing. So, coming back to you as a board leader, so which aspects of corporate governance you would feel you can add much more value uh, to the table?
Okay. I'm definitely part of a board leader aspiring, but I'm very much going to be there sooner.
Yes,
Uh, uh, there are a few aspects of corporate governance which uh, is of interest to me, and I think I can do a lot over there. One is, of course, strategy. Now, I'm not talking strategy in terms of uh, me having done a course in strategy and all of that. I'm just talking in pure and sensical manner in terms of a direction. And I think as sitting on the board, that's what you need to do. You know, directors sit on many boards which has, businesses which are diverse. All right, it could be from financial services to retail or to chemical manufacturing, like what Mcon is. You need to understand the business, understand the market that they face it the way they see it, and then be part of the strategy, part of the decision. So that's one area I can, given my background as well from the military, this is one area that I think I can contribute more. Second is what I want to see more and more is diversity. Now, diversity not just in terms of gender, okay, also in terms of gender, but not limited to that. I like diversity of opinion. I like the diversity of composition of people. I like contrarian views as long as it's not emotion driven. Okay, as long as contrarian views from grown-ups, because you can't respond to emotions. But that diversity is important because the contrarian views are important because it brings up something which you've not known before. All right, and not just the discussion, but the inclusion of this in the narrative of decision making. All right, you come to a decision is fine, but the way you come to a decision is very, very important. All right, so including diversity of people, skills, views, all of this, and contrarian views as part of the narrative of decision makers. The other thing is the independence of independent directors, or the independence of directors, more specifically with regard to the view. All right. So there is nothing called a meek director. There is nothing to my mind. Okay.
Hmm.
A director is a director. Just as an army officer is an army officer. It's not about lady officer and a male officer. There's nothing like that. The liabilities are the same. The
True.
opportunities are the same. So we don't get into, we don't like to get into it. Similarly, at the board, you're a director. You're expected to know the law, you're expected to know the business, you're expected to know about corporate governance, provide the vision, provide the direction to the company, and help the company reach where they want to reach. That's a job, regardless of being male or female. But the independence of it, you may be representing a bank, you may be representing the family, you may be representing.
Welcome back.
So whoever you're representing, your views necessarily has to be issue based, the current situation, or the point that we are discussing based in the interest of the organization, because yes, I'm quite firm and a little passionate about that as well. The independence of the views of the directors, both, it includes independent directors as well. All right. The other thing I'm interested in is definitely risk management,
Hmm.
but beyond mitigation. Now, risk management, including ESG, not limited to ESG. Whereas ESG is seen more as a risk, all right? But risks bring opportunities. I love to see through that. All right. During COVID, the very first year of COVID, there were 50 new billionaires, and I'm sure they wouldn't be new billionaires, and they were there because they could turn an a risk into an opportunity, and make money out of it as well, and at the same time serve society as well. So it can coexist. And one last point would probably be transparency. Uh, that comes a lot from our background itself. I like to deal straight. I understand to being diplomatic, but transparent enough uh, to the level that is required to get a job done in the interest of the organization. So, when it comes to corporate governance, these are the 4 5 points that's kind of interesting.
Super. And now, quick 2 or 3 mantras of success from Captain Tapas.
Well, my experience has been, when you invest in the success of someone else, you succeed as well. All
Wow.
right.
That's awesome.
As as in my unit, when we trained, when we mentored our troops, our boys, to take on the next level. If I the same equation taking forward, and you can check this with any of my team members in the past in the HR departments of various companies. We always look to develop them, because if no, it's very simple. If they develop and take your place, then you are free to move up. Otherwise, the company is going to keep you right there, because there is nobody to replace you. All right.
True.
Insecurities are the biggest enemies, because there is nothing called a permanent job, right? So invest in others. Even today, when I have enough calls coming from my uh, from my defense services, from the Army, Navy, Air Force, where my colleagues want to move out, and they want to know, Tapas, you made it. What do you think about me? I invest time to tell them what is factual, and that's not always what is wrong, or what that is. It is the positive and the negative. Let the decision be theirs. Okay, it is important for that. So that is one. The second is, just be honest and truthful. Keep your intent correct. Keep your intent straight. Things fall in place. Yes, at times it can be bad, but trust me, even your worst enemy will believe what you say, because he knows you don't lie. If you can
True.
build that kind of an image, all right, and trust me, you will have a worst enemy who stood up for something you thought was right, and you took both are actually good. So invest in yourself in learning. Be honest, be truthful about things, and invest in others to grow. So that's what a network is. and that is what your net worth eventually is.
I simply second and truly believe the point that you said. Invest in yourself and invest in others too, because that is how we grow together, and that is how a team is built. So true. So it was amazing having this member spotlight session with you, Captain Tapas. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights, and have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much for having me for this session, and I hope I could add value to all your listeners. So,
So you have some amazing comments in the comments section which you could go through.
sure, sure. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I know Ashok. So, Abhinav is also here. Thank you,
Yes.
Abhinav, and Divya, of course. Ah, Anuradha is also here. She was keen to attend. So, very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. Very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye
you so much.
bye.
Bye bye.